You're listening to What It's Like with Luce, a podcast highlighting ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm your host, Lucy Norris, and on today's episode, I'm chatting all things performing with a Belgian actor. From an early age, this week's guest found his home on the stage. Whether it be with music or drama, he always loved entertaining people, and so when it came to making decisions following high school graduation, there was no doubt in his mind about what his future career would look like. Enrolling in a conservatoire in Antwerp, he set to work honing his craft, and it has been success after success since then. Landing on our Netflix home screens after appearing in the British TV drama Baptiste, the Belgian native has had quite the journey. To share the behind the scenes thus far, here's what it's like to be Boris Van Severen. Welcome, Boris. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love if we could start by chatting a bit about what you were like growing up and where your initial interest for acting came from.
Well, it started as a dream as a kid, I think, to be on a stage. I've always felt the need to entertain people, even at family gatherings or something like that. I was the one to jump on the table and ask the attention of everybody. So that was like a very early sign of of wanting to act, wanting to perform, wanting to be on stage. But no, that was the first sign of. Even my parents were like, "Yeah, you should definitely do something with drama, not like more as a find an outlet for all your energy."
Okay.
It was more that they searched for drama lessons, or there's this really good youth theater in Ghent, and they do workshops with children starting from 7 or 8 years old, and so I got into that, and things went on a roll from there on. So yeah.
Are you from Ghent? Is that where you're from?
Yeah. I'm from Belgium, Ghent. Yeah. Now I live in the countryside, not far from Ghent.
Okay, very nice. And so I suppose it all started as, a bit of a creative outlet, an outlet for your energy, as you said, and as a passion. So how did you then turn it into your day job when it came to, I suppose, you're 18, you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. What happened next?
Well, when I was 18, I started, I was still in school. I flunked 2 years. So I was the worst student ever, I think. I had to, I was 20 when I graduated high school.
Okay.
So I had a sense of what I wanted to do then when I was 18, because I was already 20. So I really wanted to act and play music. So I went to audition for an acting school in Antwerp, the Royal Conservatory in Antwerp, which focuses. You have drama section, and then you have drama/music section, and that's what I was drawn to the most, because as I was saying, just the stage was a desire for me. I wanted to be on a stage, and if it was with music, if it was with drama, if it was theater, it was anything, just being on a stage. And I was really passionate about music and about drama, so that was the most the choice that was the most evident to choose that one. And I had the feeling, being at the conservatory, being in a class with other 18-year-olds, that they were still, like, they were doubting themselves much more than I was. I was already like focused in a direction of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. So that was, I really enjoyed that time, because it was really researching, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Who do I want to be on stage, off stage? And then I started getting auditions for small roles in TV series and films and stuff like that. So from there on, since I graduated, I've never had 4 months subsequently no work or something, or 3 months even. It's been really like I've been working since I've graduated. Yeah, so I'm really thankful for that. I know it's not everyone can say that, so I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's great because I feel like a lot of
Mm,
people just automatically assume that it's an industry that's going to take years to get a break in. There's going to be so much
yeah,
unemployment and things, but you didn't find
yeah,
that.
no, no, and yeah, well, sometimes, but then something pops up, and it's like it's exponential. When something pops up, the other thing is about to pop up, and so it goes on, it goes on, it goes on. So you never stop. But when you don't have a job, it's also exponential. So if people don't see you enough, they're gonna forget about you. So less jobs, less work, less. But it's. I'm really afraid of that point of not being able to work as much as I am working right now, and to become one of the actors that the world is so rich of. For me, it's really important to stay focused, to stay committed to my job, and to stay to really stay on track of what it is that I want to be or become, or what kind of actor I want to become, and train myself, and look at myself. I know it's a bit narcissistic maybe, but it is not. It's not meant that way. But I look at myself just to see what I'm doing when I'm playing, and to see what can be improved, and to see what I can do better. And I think that's a very important part of our job, to reflect.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that's becoming more apparent to everyone as well. I think particularly in the pandemic and things, everyone's had
Mhm.
such a large
Yeah,
amount of
yeah,
time
yeah,
to self-reflect, and it's been
yeah,
something that's
yeah.
changed people's lives, I feel. And I suppose just going back to that point of drama school and studying acting, do you think that it would have been possible to break into the industry without having that support system from studying further in the field?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I don't think you need an education to be a wonderful actor.
Mm.
No, not at all. It helped me to get in contact with people that are in the field. That's how it could possibly help. Yeah, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say this because, as I was saying, I was already 20, so I had a feeling of who I was as an actor and what I wanted to portray and what I wanted to do. So it didn't change me that much. It just got me more sucked into the world of acting, which is I'm meeting directors, meeting other actors, meeting teachers who are also actors in the field. So that was important, or I can still feel the benefits of that. You know, when you're on a set with a former teacher of yours, and it's an instant connection, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
how funny! 10 years ago you were my teacher, and now we're playing together. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
So I've had a really good time in acting school, but if you don't need it, no, you don't need it. Of course not. I think it's something. Well, it's 5% talent and 95% work. It's not all about talent, because there are lots of talented people, but they don't have the work ethic, and then they get lost in the world. So I'm very much. I think it's like 95% is the work you have to put into it, and that you don't need acting school to put work into yourself and into your acting.
Yeah, I suppose that's one side of things they can't really teach you. You either have
Yeah.
a good work ethic or you don't. And so speaking of work, can you take me back to your first day on set, I suppose, the first time you booked a job and
Hmm.
yeah, you started working in the industry?
Yeah. It was weird. It was weird because I had been doing theater all my life. So, and theater is in a venue for people who are in on the seats on the far away from you, and even the have to reach to the top of the venue to reach everybody in the last row. So I remember being very too big because I was used to theater, and I was talking too loud because I was used to theater. So that took a while, and it was really, yeah, it's two different jobs actually. It's really two different jobs, and yeah, if I think of it now, it makes sense, right? If you're doing a thing and you call it acting, but it's only acting for theater and for in venues, and you have to do an acting job for film, you think it's the same acting, but it's not. It's very, very different.
Which do you prefer?
And oh, that's a difficult question. It's a difficult question. I like the fact that it switches, so that I can do theater. I just finished rehearsing for a theater play, and next thing I'm doing is filming again. So I like them both. I like them both equally, not equally maybe. I think theater is more hard work, is more longer hours, because you're when I'm playing theater, I'm also creating. So you take it back with you at home, and so it becomes this stretch of thinking a lot. In film, you don't need to take care of everything, of every aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know the sounds are going to be good. You know the camera is going to be good. You know the director is doing his job. You know the editor is doing his job. So the job itself is less involving, and I find theater is more like it's 3 months, 3 months and a half of very intense work with the actors you're playing the piece with, and it's very intense, and there's shouting, and there's fights, and there's verbal fights. There's a lot of emotions coming into play, because you're working on this together, and that's what makes it also very interesting and very intriguing, because it's like you're making something together, and that's what I find the most attractive part about doing theater.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, the contrast between the both of them, because as you were saying, again, from an outsider's view, I feel like people would just lump them together and say like acting is acting, but as you've just demonstrated, it's so different compared to each other. And so, as we spoke about just briefly before, I watched you in Baptiste, the series on Amazon. So can you tell me about that, how that came about, and what that was like to film?
How that came about, I got a casting call, and it said like the missing part 3 or something, and I was like, wow, okay, BBC, wow, a big job. So I thought, I'm definitely gonna go, but it's you know that you're not the only one who's gonna go. That's the thing. You know, there's gonna be loads of people going. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go, but I'm not gonna get it. And that's always like my mindset, because I don't like to be disappointed.
Okay.
So I go, but I'm like, no, I'm never gonna get this. So I went, thought I'm gonna do my best shot, and then walk away and never hear something again. But at least they're gonna see my face. So that's one step. And then I got a call back, and I was like, oh, okay, wow. Okay, so I went back, the same thing, like, okay, now new scenes. Okay, I'm gonna give it my best shot, and then I'll walk away, and they'll never see me again. And then again, a couple of weeks later, I think, I get a call back again, and they're like, yeah, would you like to come in again? Because it's almost, we're still doubting. And I'm like, how many are we? And they're like, three of you. And I'm like, what? Okay. So I go in, and that's when I saw the other 2 guys. Usually you don't see them. So I did it. And then again, like I'm gonna give it my best shot and then walk away. And I got a phone call from the producer, John Griffin, who said like, yeah, we want you. And I knew it from the start that I wanted you and the director as well. But the BBC was a little was in doubt because we have found you so quick in the process, and they wanted other options. So it was very clear for us that you was going to do it, but we had to say to them that there were other options, because they were, after my first audition, they went like, yeah, we got the guy. And BBC was like, well, that's impossible. You still have 3 weeks to cast, so look at the others. So that was like really weird for me, because I didn't have the feeling that it went that well, the casting. It went good, and I had a good connection with the director, but you know, that could be casting talk, you know? Casting is really weird. You get this enhanced version of yourself, like being really really friendly and really, hi, how are you? And sometimes you have the feeling of a director that he's doing the same. Yeah, I was really amazed that I got that. Filming it was so much fun. I have so many good memories about the director. The cast is amazing. Checky is amazing. Tom Hollander is the nicest guy ever. Yeah, we had a really good time shooting it. It was nice.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really great series. And that's so cool that they knew that they wanted you from day one. That's a big compliment to you. But
yeah.
So I suppose looking back over your career thus far, has there been any major challenges that you've faced, or anything that you've ever come across that's maybe made you think, this isn't for me?
Yeah, I funny you ask, because I was in the months before Baptiste, I didn't have anything, and I was like getting really like anxious about it. So I was calling my agent, like, what do we, how are we gonna do this? And she said, no, don't worry, things will come. So a month later, I'm like, fuck, nothing is coming. So then the casting call for Baptiste came. And I was like, okay, fuck it. If I don't get this job, I'm going to quit acting.
Really?
It's really, yeah, really true. Really true. I wasn't going to quit acting, but it was just a motivator for me to do that casting really good and to try to at least reach for the stars. So maybe that's my guerrilla method came across.
And what do you do in those months? I know you said you haven't had many of them where you
No.
didn't find work, but in those months when you are, I suppose, without anything to do, how do you keep yourself motivated in that time?
Motivated is the hardest part, but because sometimes it's endless. Like now, I've just finished a job, and the next thing I'll be doing is in August only. So I'm like 5 months or 6 months. I don't have anything, but it's okay, you know, because I've worked very much the past 3-4 years, so it's welcome. But it's like it's gonna be the first time to have that. So, and now I'm just in the beginning, so I'm really enjoying it. I'm walking a lot. I'm working out a bit, and I'm reading, and I'm so it's very, very good now. But to look at it, it's so endless now. Like August is so far away right now. So
yeah.
But I'm still like, there are castings I've been doing to fill up the gap. Yeah, the motivation sometimes is not what it's supposed to be, but that's also our job.
I suppose it's also nice to have a break sometimes as well when you've been working so much.
Yeah. But when it's the calculated break, it's even more fulfilling, because when you're like, yeah, I've worked so hard 3 to 4 years, and now is a span of 3 months where I don't have to do anything, and then it's like again full on. That's the best, you know. That's because you know there's something coming.
Do you have a dream role or an ultimate goal for your career? If you could look into the next few years, what would you love to see happen for you?
A dream role is something. I think every role in which the character is a bit dangerous, but also brittle and a bit like every character that has something that speaks to me or that is something I can see myself doing, I find interesting, or something I haven't done, I can find interesting. And if the project is nice, then I really want to look into it. To how am I gonna do this? And so every character that has this thing, this brittleness, but also a little bit of danger mixed with a large amount of emotionality or emotional. I find yeah, that those are the characters I want to play. I really like the fact that I'm doing a bit more international things. Like I did Baptiste last summer. I did a show for French TV, which is also new to me, speaking French and acting in French. So I like the challenge of speaking in other languages, playing in other languages. I find it very fulfilling. So that's something that I see myself doing in the next few years. But I'm very grateful of what I've already had.
And then I just have one more question for you, and then I'm going to let you go. If I put your 10-year-old self in front of you today, having been through everything you've been through, both in life and then with your career as well, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give that 10-year-old self moving forward?
Oh my God, that's a difficult question, but I tend to look at life as everything that happens, and not only for a reason, but it happens, and that makes you what you are today. So I would just say, like, go. It's going to be one hell of a ride, but just go. Yeah, that's what I would say, because I don't want to how do you say it? I don't want to like warn him for something, because that's all he's going to think about then, about the warning, and then he's going to be afraid. But everything, all the downfall and all the ups have been such a help in my life and myself as a person, as an actor, and so everything I have encountered, I'm very grateful for that. There's nothing I would change.
That's such a good way to live your life, though, I suppose, to have no regrets ever. And that's another reason I'll never go to a fortune teller, because I don't want to know what's going to happen, because I will be afraid.
Yeah, that will ruin the ride.
Yeah.
That will ruin the ride. Yeah.
But that's so true. Well, thank you so much, Boris, for giving up your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. And as always, please rate, share, and leave a comment if you like what you hear. And don't forget to follow @WhatIt'sLikePod on Instagram and Facebook. To find out more about Boris and his work to date, visit the links provided in the show notes. I'll be back on Monday with more inspiring stories, but for now, this has been What It's Like with Luce.